Hey everyone, it's time to revisit our review of HughesNet. HughesNet is once again our #1 choice for satellite internet. Now, to preemptively clear up something that will almost certainly show up in the comments, I am not saying that we recommend it over other forms of internet, just over other forms of satellite internet. Satellite internet is different from other types of providers, and we're not trying to compare apples and oranges here. So if you're looking at signing up for satellite internet, it should be because you don't really have another option. Yeah, if you can get DSL, cable, fiber, get one of those. But the good news is that things may be looking up for satellite internet customers, especially for HughesNet customers. So let's dive in. Now, HughesNet recently launched a new satellite, and you can get its Gen 5 service, which, and I don't want to overstate this now, is approximately 1 billion times better than its Gen 4 service, at least when it comes to simplicity. Now, it used to be so complicated that you had different plans and pricing depending on your zip code. Now though, 4 plans which only differ in the data cap and the pricing. Same speed across the board, and every plan is available coast to coast. Now basically just decide how much data you're likely to use and pick that plan. Pretty awesome. All that being said, we still don't love the pricing. $100 a month for 30 gigs seems pretty steep. Unfortunately, this is basically the nature of the beast. For one thing, satellite internet is an expensive technology, and it also lacks any serious competition. There are pretty much only 2 companies that provide it coast to coast, and it's meant for those who don't have access to DSL, cable, or fiber. If you're in rural America and you want internet, this is pretty much your only option, and satellite internet providers know it. If you want to know where all the competition went, check out our other video on the subject. We'll put a link in the description. Good news and bad news on the equipment front. Unfortunately, HughesNet's equipment is more expensive than it used to be, but at least the modem has Wi-Fi now, so that's something. So should you lease or buy your equipment? Well, here are the numbers. If you purchase, you'll pay about $450 total for equipment and installation. To lease, you'll pay $99 up front plus $15 a month every month after that. If you do the math, it's basically a wash. Normally though, we just say lease it so that you don't have to buy equipment again when the new stuff comes out. Either way, be aware that you'll have someone coming out to install that equipment. This is way different from a simple cable installation, so be prepared to take potentially an entire day off work to babysit your house as the technician does the install. Now, nobody likes contracts, and HughesNet won't provide any relief there. The standard 2-year contract is required in their case. There are a whole lot of details involved, including some pretty gnarly early cancellation fees and requirements about keeping leased equipment in good condition, all that stuff. It's too much to go over here, so I'll just say this. Read the contract, read the contract, read the contract. Which brings up something else actually to keep in mind. Neither the person who sells you HughesNet nor the person who installs it are likely to actually work for HughesNet itself, so take anything they tell you about your contract with a grain of salt. As for your customer service experience going forward, HughesNet hasn't had great ratings, and it's pretty much in line with the rest of the industry that way. And with the new Gen 5 service, not much has changed in that area as far as we can tell. Be aware that HughesNet outsources an unspecified portion of their inbound calls. Now, we had no problems when we did a few test calls, but that doesn't mean that you won't either. Alright, now back to the good stuff. In the new Gen 5 iteration, all the speeds are the same, 25 megabits per second. The only difference between the plan is the amount of data you can use per month, so picking a plan is as simple as deciding how much data you need. Now, if you hit your data limit, no fees, yay! But speeds slow down to as low or lower than 1 megabit per second. Yikes. So if you think you might hit your monthly limit, there's a new system in place with data tokens, which gets you 1 gigabyte of extra data for every $3 you spend, basically. By the way, you can take advantage of what they call the bonus zone. You get an extra 50 gigs of data every month, but only between 2 a.m. and 8 a.m. Kind of annoying, but you can make the most of it if you schedule your software updates and your movie downloads during those hours. So, can you game on the new HughesNet Gen 5? A lot of customers are sure to be really excited about this since every plan now comes with that 25 megabits per second, which is plenty fast for gaming. But the answer is still no. Well, it's yes and no. Speeds will be enough to play some turn-based games, think card games or Farmville, that sort of thing, but for fast-paced games like first-person shooters or real-time strategy games, the important number isn't download speed, it's latency. Basically, latency is the speed at which you can send and receive commands over the internet. If you're playing a game where timing is everything, high latency will leave you, how do the gamers say it, lagging so hard. So even with the improvements, your latency on satellite internet will still be too high to play those fast-paced online games. Now, does that mean that the higher download speeds don't matter? Absolutely not. They matter a great deal. Streaming a movie on Netflix, for instance, will always be a lot more reliable at 25 megabits per second than it was at 2 megabits per second, regardless of your latency. But if you're doing a lot of that, just, again, remember those data caps. Now, all the plans are pretty similar except for that data limit, so it's hard to say which one you should go with. You'll just have to take into account what you'll do with your internet service. If you're watching a lot of Netflix, go with one of the higher plans. If you're just doing some basic browsing and Facebooking, a smaller plan will work fine. The other thing to note is that Exceed, the only major competitor at the moment, is launching their own satellite sometime this year, so we'll see at that point whether HughesNet hangs on to its top spot. But for now, HughesNet is the clear winner. Alright, thanks for watching everybody. Please subscribe so we can let you know when changes in the industry happen, and give this video a like if you please. We'll see you all next time.